Hey everybody, Ann and Dave here, and today we are going to show you how to make your own homemade ranch dressing. So you may be asking yourself, why do I need to make this on my own? Well, there's a number of reasons. First off, it's super easy, doesn't take much time or many ingredients, and you get to eliminate all that nasty stuff that's in the bottle dressings, like the ton of sodium, a lot of the MSG and all those other crazy chemicals that are in there. So this is what you're going to need. You're going to need some black pepper, some Italian seasoning, some distilled white vinegar, or in this case we're using champagne vinegar, some Dijon mustard, some garlic powder, 1 cup of light oil, and this we're using safflower oil, 1 egg, some salt, some finely chopped shallots, some milk, which isn't in the picture, and of course a Cuisinart or a blender. You could use a whisk, but I don't think you want to do that. You'll be here forever. So to start, let's get the egg in the Cuisinart, and what we're going to add next is the champagne vinegar, and we are using 1 tablespoon. And you can adjust this too. You could add a little bit more, a little bit less. I mean, just try this recipe out and figure out what works best for you. The next thing we're going to do is add the Dijon mustard. So again, 1 tablespoon, and same applies here to the vinegar. You know, a little more, a little bit less. This just adds a really nice flavor to this. The Dijon and the vinegar together are super nice. So we got that in there. Now we're going to combine these ingredients, but before we do that, we're going to add a little salt, just a pinch of salt. Yeah, not too much, maybe a tiny bit more. Like I said, you can always come in and add some more if you need to, but I like to try to stay a little bit low on the sodium end. So now we get this. Let's combine this for a few seconds. And in case you haven't guessed yet, we're kind of on our way to making mayonnaise. So this next step, what we're going to do is we're going to add the oil, and you're going to want to do this pretty slowly. Just drizzle it in, not very much to start. Let that all get in there, incorporate for a few seconds, then keep adding it. And you're going to keep doing this until that entire cup of oil is gone. So this takes, I don't know, a couple, 3, 4, 5 minutes. So I am going to skip to the part when I've actually got most of this oil all combined. So here we go. So it's been a few minutes, got everything in there, and we're gonna let it combine and mix for a few more seconds. And guess what? Look what we have. We've got mayonnaise, and this is the best mayonnaise I've ever tasted. I'm never going to go buy it off the shelf. I'm going to make it this way every time. And look, it only took a few minutes really to do this. I mean, it really only takes a few minutes. So now what we're going to do is put the ingredients in for the ranch. So we've got the shallots, those finely chopped shallots, and like I said, what I used is just a pretty large shallot, and minced it up pretty good. I mean, you want to make it pretty fine. You don't want any big chunks of shallot in there. So the next thing we're going to add is the garlic powder, and a little goes a long way, so don't put too much. And you can always add more, but again, just kind of experiment with this recipe and what works best for you guys. Same goes for the Italian seasoning. Just throw a little dash in there. And now the pepper, that great coarse bourbon barrel aged pepper, that smoked pepper that Ann gets. So now we're going to combine all this stuff together. Only takes a few seconds just to get it all mixed up good. And the last thing we're going to do is add the milk, because what we want to do now, I mean, you basically got mayonnaise, a really thick ranch dressing. So we want to thin it out a little bit. We're just going to use whole milk in this case, but I guess you could probably use, you know, lighter milk or non-fat or whatever. But again, you can experiment. So just drizzle in a little bit at a time. Just keep an eye on the blender or the Cuisinart and see how it's going. Now I'm going to take the top off and just look. Yeah, it still looks pretty thick. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit more milk to thin it out, just a little bit more. I don't think I'm going to need very much. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. So what do you think? Yeah, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty tasty. Looks like the right consistency, and I think we've made ranch dressing. There it is, all done. How easy was that? So here's a little bit closer look, and you can see. Super good. It's really easy to make, and again, you miss all those nasty chemicals and stuff. So here's the ingredients. Take a screenshot, stop the video, whatever you need to do. It's not very many, and bon appetit. It's really good.